Hello, good morning, and thanks for joining us on the midday midweek edition of the Good Morning Abia One-Stop Breakfast Show on MCL TV, where we're educating, inform and entertain you with happenings around you, Nigeria and the diaspora. And of course, my name is Stella Okechukwu, and it promises to be informative on today's Good Morning Abia. Microphone is here with me. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Stella, and it's nice to have you on the breakfast program this morning. Of course, what we do is to bring you up to speed with all that is making rounds here in Abia State and taking you out of the shows of this country. And of course, so much to talk about. There's so much as I speak to you right now. There's a lot of debates about hate speech, and of course, the Senate, Stella, is putting his hands to say, look, there are two options, and of course, if the hate speech or whatever the social media puts online results to death, definitely the reporter or the owner of that social media platform also will have to face a death penalty. And people are asking, is that how to curtail the social media hate speech? And of course, a lot of people, Nigerians, are also reacting and calling for the release of Soroway. And also, it's still very fresh that so much of speculation concerning the 35 aides of the vice president.
Some of the issues to actually talk to our viewer about, but a lot of controversies have turned the bill seeking for the death penalty of anybody who engages in hate speech and all that. But I think the federal government actually needs to do something, because hate
it has not passed the federal government. Let's see what the Senate, because it is a Senate that accepts the bill or says no. They think that that's an harsh decision. Well, anyway, this is what we'll be giving to you this morning as we take a look at states of the nation, because that's what we do on this program. We'll make sure that we give you opportunity to air your view concerning all the topics that will be treated this morning. But of course, we have our culture on this program. The first is to visit the words on marble, and of course, the words on marble this morning comes up with these.
Don't wait for extraordinary opportunities. Seize common occasions and make them great. Weak men wait for opportunities. Strong men make them.
Well, whatever you have to do, just don't sit and say, well, don't worry, somebody is going to get to me. Move and get that person that will turn your life around. Some people say, well, I know that my destiny worker would come. I agree, but you also sometimes you need to move towards and approach your destiny changer, the man you feel that will change your destiny. Weak men wait for opportunities. Strong men make them. Dream and make your dream come true. That's what it simply means. All right. Apart from the words of marble, leaving the words of marble quickly, we go to tell you what is making rounds in the world of news. Of course, Stella Okechukwu, stay here with me.
From the news this morning, it says condemnations have charged the proposed bill seeking to place a death penalty on anyone convicted of hate speech. The law to establish a national commission for the prohibition of hate speeches yesterday passed its first reading on the floor of the Senate. The bill, being sponsored by Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, is coming barely 1 week after the same chamber initiated moves to regulate the use of social media. Abdullahi, who was spokesman of the last Senate, had proposed death penalty by convicted for hate speech. Depending on the degree of the offense, the bill also provides for life jail, 5 years of imprisonment, or an option of 10 million naira fine for persons convicted of hate speech. Reacting, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Abakoba Olisa, told the senators to kill the bill as it is irrelevant and unnecessary. Another son, Mike Ozekome, described it as draconian and should be aborted as a malformed embryo at his second reading before it is delivered as a societal monster. Another senior advocate, Ahmed Baji, said the world is moving away from death penalty. Former Publicity Secretary, Nigerian Bar Association, NBA Lagos Branch, Emeka Nwadioke, said the imposition of death penalty is ridiculous in an era where many jurisdictions are jettisoning capital punishment. He also said creating another commission for that purpose amounts to duplication. Mr. Larry Arangade, journalist, activist, and executive director, International Press Center (IPC), dismissed it as annoying and unwarranted. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, said on Tuesday that the National Assembly is working towards the passage of the 2020 appropriation bill on November 28, 2019. To achieve the target date, Lawal has directed the Senate Committee on Appropriations to submit his report on the 2020 budget proposals on November 26, 2019. Lawal gave the directive on the floor of the Senate during plenary. The Senate President stated that the committee's compliance to lay its report on November 26 will facilitate the passage of the 2020 budget on November 28. Before the National Assembly proceeds on Christmas break. Meanwhile, a total of 12 billion scales first reading on the floor on Tuesday. The bills are National Religious Equity Commission Establishment Bill 2019, sponsored by Senator Stella Odwa, Constituency Development Fund Bill 2019 by Senator Ali Ndume, and of course National Agency for Technology Incubation Bill 2019 by Senator Ajayi Borofis, and of course National Law College Act Amendment Bill 2019 by Senator Aliyu Wamako. Others are Compulsory Free Universal Education Act Amendment Bill 2019 by Senator Rose Oko, and Private Security and Forensic Investigation Bureau of Nigeria Bill 2019 by Senator Barinada Mpibi. Others include Police Act Amendment Bill 2019 by Senator Betty Akwafi, Federal University of Agriculture and Technology Funtua Bill 2019 by Senator Bello Madia, Federal College of Education Technical Kaima Kwara State Bill 2019 by Senator Sadiq Omar, Federal University of Gashowo Bill 2019 by Senator Yahaya Abdullahi, Federal Medical Center Dekina by Senator Jibril Issa, and National Commission for the Prohibition of Hate Speeches Bill 2019 by Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi are all inclusive. The Joint House Committee on Police Affairs, Drugs, Narcotics and Human Rights have held a town hall meeting in Abia. The 8-member committee was set up by the House of Representatives to unravel the cause of the incident that happened at Okojumbo and Ntoike zone, as well as some parts of Owerri, Abia. Chimezozem reports that the town hall meeting was held at Unubi Hall in Ugba Road. The report.
Inside this hall are some residents of Okojumbo and Ntoike zone, as well as Owerri, Abia, who are alleged victims of police brutality. The incident that resulted in alleged burning down of houses and looting of property by the police happened between Friday 27 September and Tuesday 1st October 2019. Members of the Joint Committee are in the state to ascertain the remote and immediate cause of the incident with the aim of identifying the perpetrators of the crime. The setting up of the Joint Committee was sequel to a motion raised on the floor of the House by the member representing Abia North and Abia South Federal Constituency, Mr. O.C. Prestige. The Joint Committee is chaired by Mr. Ayeni Babatunde. Some of the victims told the members of how policemen burned their houses, looted their property, tortured, arrested and detained them. They traced the incident to a disagreement between drug dealers in the area and some policemen attached to Cameroon Road Police Station.
On 27, I heard that police had some good problem on the So on 28th, I'm inside my shed. My neighbor called me that police have bought my house and take all the property that is inside the house. So when I got to my house, I didn't say the police. And those police were shaking all my time, said that police are there. So when I come back, I didn't say the police there. So I went to my neighbor. I told my neighbor what was going on with me. So my mother was directed me to one pastor, Esther, to my church. I should have visited that to my neighbor. So
where drugs are being sold. So the patronizers always do it without even fear. Nobody disturbs them. If you come, they will be with you. And policemen always this title. All of them have been saying title. Why not explain to them what that title really means? The policemen come in the morning hours, afternoon and evening hours to collect this very title. So when they collect, they go.
The Secretary, Abia branch of Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), Mr. Emeka Agulonu, submitted reports of the committee set up by the branch to find out the cause of the incident. The chairman of the 10-man committee, Mr. Victor Mugo, informed the members that the police declined to appear before the committee set up by the NBA.
Mr. Chairman, as I come today, if you go to search the market, you have part of the loot being searched from the loot. You have part of the loot collected by anti-terrorism force. You have part of the loot collected by the loot. You have part of the loot. It's all a shabby loot.
Mr. O.C. Prestige, a federal lawmaker in whose constituency the incident happened, said the purpose of the exercise was to discover the truth and not to witch hunt anyone. It will be recalled that the Abia state government set up a panel of inquiry to investigate the matter. Chimezie Ozems, MCL News.
And no fewer than 3,000 corporate organizations and private businessmen and women from almost all the 36 states of the Federation and Abuja recently gathered at Agulu, Anambra State, to grab a chunk of the $250 billion global capital for the African Continental Free Trade Area. The money is said to have been provided by the United States of America, USA, Canada, China, Japan, and some European organizations for the third world countries. The money was made available through bilateral agreements for the development of African countries. Sources of the money include the USA Development Finance Corporation with $60 billion capital, the European Investment Plan, which has set aside $40 billion to support businesses in Africa, and the Economic Partnership for Africa, which is for those who want to export to Europe, as well as the African Free Trade, which will take off in the first quarter of 2020. Report says that Global Tulip Hotel Agulu was filled to capacity, with some of the participants thinking that part of the money will be shared to them there. But Dr. Nicholas Okoye, an investment expert and chief executive of Annabelle Group based in the USA, said although the money has been marked out for businesses in Africa, added that it is not cash just waiting to be collected. Addressing the entrepreneurs and top government officials as part of his organization's development strategy to enable the country's businesses access the fund, Okoye, who is the founder of Nikki Okoye Foundation, said the important thing is for business outfits to ensure that they can easily attract investors by putting their businesses on a sound footing. Chairman of the Enugu East Local Government Area, Chief Alex Ugu, on Tuesday said that council chairmen have no reason to underperform as they are fully in charge of their council's finances and allocations. Ugu stated this during a good governance star by a coalition of civil society organizations, CSOs, and the State Council of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ. He said the council had received over 1.9 billion naira of the federal allocation from December 2017 to date. Ugu said under his watch, the council had judiciously utilized its revenue as evident in numerous projects executed by his administration. He equally said that his council graded about 8 rural link roads and remained the only council to asphalt a 1.5-kilometer road in the last 2 years. He promised that the ongoing rehabilitation of the 1.5-kilometer Enugu East Mbawure road will soon be completed. Ugu cited the completion of the council's administrative block abandoned 10 years ago as one of the landmark achievements of his administration. He attributed successes recorded by his administration to the prudent management of the council's resources. Speaking at the end of the tour, the NUJ chairman, Mr. Rex Arum, said the council chairman performed credibly given the resources at his disposal. Also, the leader of the coalition of CSOs, Onyebuchi Ibuke, said that the tour was organized to assess the performance of the council chairman and ensure that only visionary people are elected into office. The Chaharan family in Nibu, Oka South local government area, Anambra State, has cried out over the sudden disappearance of his breadwinner and husband Emeka Chahana since October last month. Reports said that Chahana, an employee of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, was last seen around his Nibu residence in October this year, alleging that he was abducted by unknown persons. By his wife, Chiazo Chahanam, who corroborated the story yesterday in Oka, said her husband was whisked away from his Nibo residence by yet to be identified men, but she could not ascertain whether the abductors were armed or how many they were. Mrs. Chiazo said that her family is yet to make contact with the suspected abductors since his sudden disappearance. Chiazo appealed to good-spirited individuals with useful information to her husband's whereabouts to avail such to the family, lamenting that her husband's absence over 3 weeks has kept her devastated. That's much you can take on today's news segment. You're still watching Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on MCLT. We'll go for a break. When we come back, the program will continue. Do stay with us.
One-stop breakfast show on TV. It's celebration time.
MCR TV celebrating the 10th anniversary of its popular breakfast program, Good Morning Abia.
You mean MCR TV Good Morning Abia is 10 years?
Yes, the program that discusses diverse issues every day, Monday through Saturday, 8 o'clock to 10 in the morning.
Social,
Political,
cultural,
economic,
educative and trending issues.
MCR TV invites our friends and personalities who have featured on Good Morning Abia over the years. It will be exciting with moments to recall and celebrate.
It will be time to honor our regular guests, while pioneer guests will have the opportunity of appearing again on the program. The event will also feature the cutting of anniversary cake. MCO TV, the world in your home.
It's a celebration.
not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say wetin man go do for this world wey people no go talk. If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, dem go talk. Wetin make we do for this world? I say make we go do the things wey we carry for heart. Na so world want am. Abi no be so?
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCL TV.
Welcome to MCL Customer Care Service Information. Please listen to the following instruction upon the
and of course, is the newspaper review segments. We'll begin with the Nation newspaper this morning. And on the front page of the Nation newspaper, Edo PDP excludes Ize Iyamu. Edo PDP excludes Ize Iyamu somewhere in party. NDDC to recover stolen resources, IMF affirms mandates. NDDC to recover stolen resources, IMC affirms mandates. Igbo groups threaten secession, presidency or nothing. Igbo groups threaten secession, presidency or nothing. Of course, those stories you find them on pages 7 and 8. Still on Bayelsa Kogi 2019. INEC last-minute judgments won't alter our plan. INEC last-minute judgments won't alter our plan. Police tear gas IGP INEC chair August in Kogi. Police tear gas IGP INEC chair August in Kogi. PDP challenges INEC on guard readers. PDP challenges INEC on guard readers. The story is found on page 10. APC sure of victory in Bayelsa. APC sure of victory in Bayelsa. Party lashes Dixon. Party lashes Dixon. The picture story there is that of the All Progressives Congress National Chairman Adams Oshomole, a Minister of State for Petroleum Temipule Silva, Bayelsa State Cabinet candidate David Leon at the grand finale of the 2019 APC Bayelsa State Governorship campaign in Yenigua. Court sacks Leo's running mates. Verdict dead on arrival. Court sacks Leo's running mates. Verdict dead on arrival. The story on the front page and continues on page 8. The major headline on the front page of the Nation this morning says Gather defections work into APC as crisis depends. Gather suspensions, work into APC as crisis depends. ESCO suspends state chair. Chairman suspend on Shobole. Zonal leaders expel Obaseki. ESCO suspends state chair. Chairman suspend on Shobole. Zonal leaders expel Obaseki. And an excerpt from there says that Shobole is the one behind the crisis in the APC, but have passed a vote of no confidence in him and he stands suspended. The second one says, therefore have passed a vote of no confidence in Governor Obaseki and the suspended state chairman of the party. The story begins on the front page and continues on page 7 of this particular daily. I gave a passenger $140,000 from Atiku son-in-law, says witness. I gave a passenger $140,000 from Atiku son-in-law, says witness, on page 47. On the back page of the Nation newspaper this morning, Tony Manuel is writing on Today in the Nation. There are many new areas of study opportunity, even the universities
open their eyes on behalf of the students to fulfill the projected needs of the nation. Set up departments of drone development, robotics, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, plant chemistry, and pharmacology. There are many new areas of study opportunity if the universities open their eyes on behalf of the students to fulfill the projected needs of the nation. Set up departments of drone development, robotics, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, plant chemistry, and pharmacology. That's Tony Mayo on Today Innovation. Festivals and wheels this morning rise on social media regulators, hate speech exterminators. Social media regulators, hate speech exterminators. The lesson from there says it is easy to decline fake news, but not so hate speech. A thin-skinned egotist would consider trenchant criticism sufficient ground to prosecute somebody. It is easy to define fake news, but not so hate speech. A thick-skinned egotist would consider trenchant criticism sufficient ground to prosecute somebody. And Mimi Akina, so on thinking about tomorrow, says Nigerian Hamatan as a metaphor for protests. Nigerian Hamatan as a metaphor for protests. And next is Daily Sun newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Sun, Abia set to adopt 30-year development plan. Abia set to adopt 30-year development plan on page 41. Senate proposes death sentence for hate speech. Also considers life sentence 10 million naira fine. Opposition lawmakers, lawyers, editors, activists kick. Opposition lawmakers, lawyers, editors, activists kick. The picture story there is that of Governor Emeka Ihedioha of Imo State with Dr. Jumoke Odu, the special advisor to the president on ease of doing business, senior special assistant on ease of doing business, Leila Dombacha, and John Bosco Okahilam, Imo State Commissioner for Finance, Industry and Entrepreneurship during Quebec's lesson implement and tractor in Owerri, Imo State. Edo APC factions in expulsion drama. Edo APC factions in expulsion drama. Oshola suspended. Faction starts Ojezwa. Elects Colonel Imusu as acting chairman. Another removes Oka as secretary. Bayelsa Guba, APC suffers setback. Court disqualified deputy governorship candidates. Bayelsa Guba, APC suffers setback. Court disqualifies deputy governorship candidates. Senators seek ban on textile importation. Senators seek ban on textile importation. Reps call for policies to facilitate investments in gold mining. The stories are found on pages 19, 39, and 42. E-Customs, NCS targets 1.68 trillion naira revenue in 2020. E-Customs, NCS targets 1.68 trillion naira revenue in 2020 on page 2. The back page of the Daily Sun newspaper this morning, Michael Zuckerman is writing the part 4 of the role of church in nation building. The part 4, the role of church in nation building. That's found on page 47. On page 46, which is 14 this morning, sponsorship deal. LLC says 710 trillion naira 5-year revenue targets. Deal complete with oil revenue, NFF. Sponsorship deal. NMC says 710 trillion naira 5-year revenue targets. Deal we complete with oil revenue. Nigerian Football Federation. Of course, it's on page 46 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Femi Adesina this morning returns to the back page of the Daily Sun, and on Public Forum is writing Tam David West in final escape. Tam David West in final escape. Of course, you know that Femi Adesina is the special advisor of media and publicity to the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And of course, I've been joined in the studio this morning to discuss some of the issues raised on the front pages of the dailies this morning by my colleague, Nchetachi Chukwacha. Mr. Tachi, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Now let's take a look at the front page of, let's begin with the Daily Sun newspaper here. Abia adopts 30-year development plan. We sometimes are worried about all these plans that looks very huge and may not be achieved. What do you think about the 30-year development plan that Abia is planning to adopt?
I agree it's the same way that the federal government adopted a plan, the long-term expenditure plan that will last from 2021 to 2024. So governments actually adopt this, and I think it's viable if we have a plan that would extend from now to 30 years, and we have people who will come in and buy into the same idea and are ready to work towards it. And in 30 years, if everybody keys into the policy that have been laid out, we can achieve this.
You know, the challenge we always have is not about the plan, it's about who will implement the plan. You know, you could set up this plan and then the next administration comes on board and not in tandem with your objectives and your missions, as the person says, you can dump this plan and develop another plan, leaving out with so many plans without implementation.
It's always until we have the plans and people want to buy. That's why it's important for you to have people who work with you and then they believe in your own dreams, so they share in your aspirations and your plans for the year. And it will also be hold maybe the state legislative to ensure that we have this plan, and even if you come and there are minor adjustments in what we do, we have the ultimate target and we encourage everybody to work towards them. But trying to alter them entirely, because the people who do the saw into the future, saw into 30 years from now, and they actually know the plans they want to make. It may not be exactly what you want, but they can be minor adjustments, but there we still have our focus, we still have where we want to.
So you're actually advocating that the legislative and the government should at least implement a law that would set those targets rolling, so that even when I come on board as the government of the state, I can actually know with the targets. Okay, now the major headline, which is worrying me so much, I don't know about you, proposing death sentence for hate speech by the Senate.
It's part of the regulation, the social media, the explosion of social media, and then trying to curtail it. I hope this is not a way of guiding media or even people, because people actually have the constitutional right to express their views and all that. Given me, and I think it's also important that we also outline what we tell hate speech, because constructive criticism is not exactly hate speech, but if that's what the federal government and the Senate are looking at. We can criticize people, we can criticize governments, we can criticize people in power constructively with the aim of making them, do the right thing when they are in office. So we shouldn't be termed as hate speech. And then the proposal from the Senate side, death sentence, better sentence for talking, for airing your view, and then we talk about freedom of speech and all that. And then we have people who are already kicking against the opposition lawmakers, lawyers, editors, artists, and the rest. So I think we also have to go back and review.
When I saw this, what actually came to my mind is what is hate speech, and this has been the argument across board. Talk about hate speech, and someone would ask you, please can you define? Because the challenge you're having is that even the senators have not been able to define what is hate speech. They talk about misinformation, and of course, you and I know that misinformation is far different from hate speech. If I misinform you, it means that I'm not properly informed, and I can also be corrected. But saying hate speech, what is hate speech? That you can actually go as far as proposing death sentence, when we're actually asking for stiffer penalties for kidnappers and rapists, and that has not been done. There is no law saying, okay, you must do this. We're all hearing about proposals, and these rapists, criminals, fraudulent labor are going scot-free. There's someone who makes a statement, he should face a death sentence, life sentence, 10 million naira. It actually means that that Nigeria is getting to be bossed at a corner and we no longer have the right to freedom of expression if that actually passes into law. But I pray that the law
Stop breakfast show on TV.
You're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is still Good Morning Abia, your breakfast program on TV. Sorry, that's how far we can go with our Omaya studio. We have some technical hitch, but we'll take it up from here, and we have time still to talk about what is making rounds with the dailies. And of course, we have 3 dailies on our desk this morning, starting with the daily Sun. Of course, at the top right corner of the paper comes up with Abia set to adopt 30 years development plan. Abia set to develop 30 years development plan. Okay, and of course that could be found on page 41 of the paper. Abia set to adopt 30 years development plan. And of course, Senate proposes death sentence for hate speech. Also considered life sentence, 30 million naira fine. Opposition lawmakers, lawyers, editors, activists kick, and that could be found on page 3 and 6 of the paper. And of course, smiling face, and if you're wondering, that is the governor of Imo State, Emeka Nyedio, and Imo State, second right, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, special advisor to the president on ease on doing business, second left. And of course, senior special assistant to ease on doing business, Leonard Ubaja, left, and John Bosco Yalam, Imo State Commissioner for Commerce, Industry, Entrepreneurship, rights during the PEBEC listing, implement and track LIT tour in Owerri yesterday. And of course, underneath that, you have Edo APC faction in expulsion drama, and that can be found on page 42. Oshimola suspended, faction sack Ojezua, elects Colonel Imuse as acting chairman, another removes Oka as secretary. Bayelsa Guba, APC suffers setback, court disqualifies deputy governorship candidate. That can be found on page 19 of the paper. Senators seek ban on textile importation, and that can be found on page 39 of the paper. And of course, e-custom NCS targets 1.68 trillion in revenue in 2020, and that can be found on page 2 of the paper. Quickly take you to the back page of the paper, and it is Femi Adesina, and it says of course it is a public forum. It says Tam David West in final escape. Tam David West in final escape. All right, Stella.
Right, and of course to the Nation newspaper this morning, at the top left of Nation newspaper, Edo PDP excludes Izeyamo Tumol in party, and of course it's found on page 7 of the Nation newspaper, and it is said to recover stolen resources, and the writer following that IMC affirms mandates. Read up the story on page 8 of the Nation newspaper. At the top right there it says Igbo groups threatens a section, and of course says presidency or nothing. Go to page 8 and read it up. Moving down, Bayelsa and Kogi 2019, INEC, last minute judgment won't alter our plan. That is coming from Independent National Electoral Commission. Police tear gas IGP, INEC chair orders in Kogi. And it says PDP challenges INEC on card readers. All these headlines are coming under Bayelsa and Kogi 2019. And of course, read up the story on page 10 of the Nation newspaper. Moving down, APC short of victory in Bayelsa, party lashes Dixon. Go to page 7 and read more of that headline. And closer to the picture element on the right side, it says court says Leon's running mate verdict dead on arrival. Go to page 8 and get the details, and of course the picture elements from the left. It says All Progressive Congress APC National Chairman Adams Oshomole, Minister of State for Petroleum TB Press Silva, and of course Bayelsa State Governorship candidate David Leon at the grand finale of the 2019 APC Bayelsa State Governorship campaign in Yenagua yesterday. The major headline in front of the Nation newspaper says scale of suspensions broke Edo APC as crisis deepens. The write-up, ESCO suspends state chairman suspended Oshomole, zonal leaders expel Obaseki. That is coming from zonal leaders. They are calling for them to expel Obaseki, and some of their words says Oshomole is the one behind the crisis in Edo APC. We have passed a vote of no confidence in him and his stance suspended. And the next one there says, therefore, we have passed a vote of no confidence in Governor Obaseki and the suspended state chairman of the party. All this you can get on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. Underneath the fourth page, it says, I gave Obasanjo $140,000 for Matiko's son-in-law, says witness. Go to page 7 and get the details. Moving straight up to the back page of the Nation newspaper. Festus Abia comment and debate. It says social media regulators, hate speech exterminators. I'll take it again. Social media regulators, hate speech exterminators. And it says it is easy to define fake news, but not so hate speech. I think skinned egotists will consider trenchant criticism sufficient ground to persecute somebody. Where you see the picture element of Lai Mohammed. And of course, moving down, Mini Akinaso thinking about tomorrow. He says the Nigerian Harmattan as a metaphor for protest. Read up all these at the back page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Michael.
And of course, the last paper, not least or not next this morning, is coming from the New Telegraph. At the top of the paper comes with pension.com. That's PenCom, 30 states not implementing pension scheme, and that could be found on page 5 of the paper. And underneath that, it is Supreme Court orders NNPC to pay firm 8.1 billion naira as damages. That could be found on page 4. And shootout as police fall robbers attack on CBN. That could be found on page 9 of the papers. Tinubu, PDP runs 16 years of irresponsible government. And that could be found on page 11 of the paper. Free Sorore, DSS shoots at protesters, assaults journalists, and that could be found on page 8 of the paper. And of course, the big bold lines, it's not different from the other ones being read out to us this morning. It is hate speech offenders risk death by hanging. Senate proposes large jail, 10 million naira fine orders. Atiku, it's abuse of legislative process. Zokome, Rayonu, Obani kick against bill. And of course, customs intercept frozen food as Lagos International Airport. And of course, pictures that say it speaks volume. Okay, underneath that, Edo crisis deepens as APC suspends Oshomole. National chairs loyalists condemn Obaseki's expulsion, and that could be found on page 7. And quickly, health, they say it's wealth. Just for you to know, the blood test may detect breast cancer early, and that could be found on page 6 of the paper. And of course, on the back page, Nigerian House of Oil, and of course it's coming from the treasury, and it is Bola Wale, and of course it's no news, Ibadan Oil House, after the first was discovered in the north. Well, it was assumed that it was correct, but I tell you, a lot of what you can not even try to imagine takes place in there. And of course this morning, Bola Wale says it is Nigerian houses of her. And of course, let's spice your day with the cartoon animation in his high chief. He says, we will serve Edo with every of our last drop of blood. And that is coming from the Edo State Governor Obaseki. He said, we will serve with every drop of our blood. and it says, yes, so, and that's why you were elected into office. Stella, we would serve Edo with every of our last blood. The problem, Nigerians are asking, what is happening in Edo States where the godfather and the godson are fighting it out? Well, let's see that how that unfolds, because very soon Edo State also will be going to the polls, and we know that Nigerians can wait to see what the results will come out there. But quickly, it is time for us to talk. Let's see which of the headline catches your fancy that you want to lay your voice on. Stella.
Okay, actually, what I want to chip in the election coming up is for INEC to actually assure people on card readers, because from the right of voting that says PDP challenges INEC on card readers, of course you and I know what played out at the presidential elections, and of course we actually want INEC to tell people that they can actually conduct an election.
If you also go back with the paper yesterday, you will also see some elder statesmen also advising that INEC need to do so much. The unity of this country in terms of election also falls so much on INEC's table, and INEC needs to find a very good formation that will condole on some of the loopholes that we had in the general election. But if you ask me, so far so good. There's no perfect election as we speak right now. Trump is being taken to also the Senate in terms of having something that had to do with the Russian intervention. So it's everywhere, but we're saying let us try and get it right. If not 100%, let's make a mark that people would say Nigeria had one of the free and fairest elections. Well, we'll get there, believe me. But this morning, a lot of people are beginning to talk on the hate speech. And of course, you and I know even that's going to be our discussion this morning. Hate speech, hate speech, hate speech. And people are saying that even the politicians, I remember somebody put on one of the social media platforms to say he woke up in the morning to know that politicians are talking about on how to get a bill of hate speech, when even politicians are the ones that are very, very good with hate speech. And what do you think? And if you also take a look at Tinubu, PDP ran 16 years of irresponsible government. Would you say that's an hate speech?
So that's like
that's where we're confused. What could be regarded as hate speech? Because some people can find a very subtle way of saying back something to you, and the question is, how do you know what is hate speech?
In all these things, the government have not actually, or the Senate, to come out to tell us what actually it is. You need to actually, even if you don't tell us all, like tell us what you can do.
I remember before the last general election, when the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission invited TV stations and radio stations in Nigeria and wanted to talk about hate speech, a lot of questions pop up, and the question being asked was, how do we know what's an hate speech? If you invite a guest here, because
what is hate speech?
Yeah, if you invite a guest here,
I believe our guest will be telling us this one what hate speech is. Because like you said, that PDP, would that also be regarded as a hate speech?
Because it's past, and so why do we have to dwell? Well, our guest this morning will see the substances already here, and of course we'll go for a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for us to talk. And of course, this morning we're taking a look at the proposed bill concerning hate speech. Please just stay with us.
Non-stop breakfast show on TV.
Every day,
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
It's celebration time.
MCR TV celebrating the 10th anniversary of its popular breakfast program, Good Morning Abia.
You mean MCR TV Good Morning Abia is 10 years?
Yes, the program that discusses diverse issues every day, Monday through Saturday, 8 o'clock to 10 in the morning.
Social,
Political,
cultural,
economic,
educative, and trending issues.
MCR TV invites our friends and personalities who are featured on Good Morning Abia over the years. It will be exciting with moments to recall and celebrate.
It will be time to honor our regular guests, while pioneer guests will have the opportunity of appearing again on the program. The event will also feature the cutting of anniversary cake. MCR TV, the world in your home.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
You're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is still Good Morning Abia, your breakfast program on TV. And of course, it's time for us to talk. This morning, we'll be taking a look at what is making rounds, and of course, just yesterday, the Nigerian Senate on Tuesday introduced a bill to establish an agency of the Nigerian government to regulate hate speech altered through different medium in the country. The bill creates the National Commission for the Provision of Hate Speech. And of course, that is going to be our discussion this morning. And of course, we have our guest with us this morning.
And of course, to discuss this issue with us this morning is Mr. Eusebius Substance. He is a human rights activist, assistant journalist, and also a public analyst, and also a regular on this program. So good to have you on this program.
Good morning, Stella. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mr.
Welcome to the program. Sir, let's start with what hate speech is. What would you describe as hate speech?
The fact remains that none of us Nigerians knows what hate speech is, has been propounded by the federal government. Because if we are talking about misinformation or disinformation or whatsoever, there are relevant laws in our statute.
How did you come up with none of us, like generalizing it that nobody knows what hate speech is all about?
For instance, in today's paper, when we are listening to your review of the paper, the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, called 50 years of PDP as irresponsible. To an ordinary mind, if we go to looking at that, we might term it a hate speech. But to others, we will see it as a political speech that has nothing. And let's go back to memory then. Most times we forget a little while in this country. We have short memory. In the last dispensation of Jonathan's administration, the present president of this country was talking about bamboos and all that, soaking in their blood. Is that not a speech? A former, the present Minister for Information, Lai Mohammed, who was doing the spokesman for the APC as an opposition party, said a lot of things against PDP government as clueless corrupt and all that and all that. And he had the freedom. It is his right to express himself. The government did not bring up a bill which cows the individuals. What they are trying to do, I think this government has a problem. What they are running is a quasi-military government.
I just want to just hold on to your thoughts, but I just want to go back based on you talked about some of those in power presently using some harsh words on fellow Nigerians. You made mention of the president talking about the baboons and blood of the baboons if he uses an election. You talked about El-Rufai talking about body bags. Is it not possible that looking at the past, that this present government has said, look, we've all gotten it wrong, and we need to start on a clean slate, and that is, let's go back to the format that we think has cost us disunity, and that's the reason why this bill is making headway.
No, what is causing disunity in Nigeria is not that. What is causing disunity in Nigeria is the people in government not giving justice and equity to all.
That's part of the problem. Yeah, we can't take away that.
That's the mental thing that, I mean,
they've actually realized their mistake.
No.
I'm trying to
say, somebody once said that a man that guides his utterance would always have a way out of any situation. Don't you think guiding our utterances, guiding the way we write, guiding the way we talk would definitely reduce the hatred among us?
See, Mike, it is a veiled way of this government to cow both the media, which you and I are part, to also cow the individual their freedom of expression. If we see certain things that are going wrong in this government, we should not be able to express it and say it out. Because listen, in our statutes, even in the criminal code and other things, even in the Cybercrime Act and other acts, there are these statutes, the laws that are for these issues, you understand, and which have not been tested. They should test them in the courts. If you find out that somebody has this, get him prosecuted in a court on those statutes. Going this way, circumventing, going through the bad way to just want to make us feel intimidated. We can no longer come out and express ourselves. So we will not. Nigerians, we will fight it out. So I tell you that somebody like
what are we actually fighting out, if I need to ask?
We are fighting out that our inalienable rights as indigenous and citizens of this country. By the time you are born in this country, there are rights that are given to you. The right, the Constitution, which is the Bible of this nation, has given to each and every one of us, including even the media, the freedom of expression and all that.
Yeah, that's section 39.
Fine. And if you go for that, there are other sections which I cannot quote. But we know that an attempt is being made to subjugate us into a kind of quasi-militarism by this present administration. And that's what we are not going to allow.
Okay.
We will not allow it.
With all this explanation, what do you think should be perceived as hate speech?
Hate speech is the one when the government will tell us, what the true hate speech is, the government will tell us we have earmarked 50 billion for the benefits of the people. And at the end of it all, we have not earmarked those, the things, those 50 billion that has been earmarked. They have taken it into their personal pockets. Yes.
Is that speech?
To me, that is hate speech. No, that's the correct interpretation of hate speech.
It's not the controversial answer.
That's the correct interpretation.
Well, if you go back to the records, I think a lot of Nigerians have also given their own definition of hate speech.
Okay.
Hate speech could be defined by different persons with different meanings. Some have said once you say something that's very derogatory to the other person, insulting the rights of the other person, using words, using images to insult or reduce, you have definitely used a hate speech. For example, some examples were given when the president was in the UK undergoing treatment. A lot of people had already started saying that the president is dead, and so much words were used, and it is perceived to be hate speech. But if we come back to what we're saying right now, don't you think as humans you should have something to guide you? And if you and I know that there's something in Brand Stella to guide our utterances, is that too big to be accepted by everybody?
Mike,
yes.
Let me follow you on the trend of when the president was in London
for
treatment. Certain insinuations were made that he was dead or was that. You see, it's as a result of the kind of leadership of government people have in the Congress of power. The president is a public property. When our president was going out for, in other nations, when your president is sick and is going out for, they will pray for our presidents to get well. But our president left here, this shores of this country, to go to London for sick. The minister was telling us that the president was not sick. Well, look, we are not men of short memories. That our president was not sick. In all the things he said, the president was in an hearty and all that. It was only when the president came back to this country himself, he told us the kind of sickness he had never had it in his life. So, gentlemen, who is managing this speech? Is it not those in government? Mike, between you and I have not said anything in that speech. The FCI television has not said anything in hate speech in these utterances. Hate speech, I agree. When you say certain things that are derogatory, yes, there are in our statute books where you are supposed to be taken to court. Test it. They are there in the criminal code, they are there in our statute books. Test it in the courts. Slander, defamation, and all that. I cannot decide to write a story against you that you know that is slanderous, that even will bring up bad repute in the eyes of people. The statute books have given us leeway to go and prosecute and all that. The government are not testing them. They are just finding a way to circumvent, to intimidate us so that we will not talk. Please, for God's sake, we will talk. Nigerians will talk.
Mr. Yusuke, you said something that politicians are the one actually, using hate speeches, and a lot of people have also come out to insinuate that this bill is targeted at some section of people. What do you have to say about that?
But that's the truth. It is, you see, the mind that is sponsoring it, whether he likes it or not, I'm saying it. It is the hand of Esau, or what you call the voice of Jacob, or the hand of Esau. The executive is trying to utilize that to pass this process. It is not going on a second reading.
You said it's very used by politicians.
Yes.
And they are also the people coming up with this bill.
They are not, listen, they are coming up with a bill to hoodwink us, the ordinary citizens, so that we can no longer question some of those things they are doing.
But if the National Assembly is sitting and trying to make these as a bill,
it will fail.
Don't you think they're also trying to checkmate themselves?
No, they are not.
Because you said, according to your website, it's just to reduce or try to hoodwink us into what's...
Let me tell you.
But the question I just want to... I have a different direction to this question. It's saying there. The question is, we talk about hate speech. Who defines what is hate speech?
That's the question. That's the million-dollar question.
We'll be taking a look at hate speech. Yes. Is it the government in power? Is it the people
or the security agencies?
The people that you have used the hate speech?
Yes.
Is it the National Assembly?
Or the judiciary?
Is it the courts? Or is it the executive? These are what Nigerians need to know. And so you see, we'll be in charge, even though we know that the part of the bill is that the National Commission for Hate Speech Commission.
So the commission that comes now, if you put the commission and you put an Igbo man as the head of the commission, and now somebody from the north or south or west, whatever, is brought, into the listen. They will say, no, it is because there is the man there. He's the one that is trying to use subjugate their people and all that. In reality, like I told you, the statutes are there. The courts are there. It is the courts that the Constitution has given the powers to go into something that are of negativity, of interest to the nation, to even individuals.
Okay, you can be part of this program by calling the numbers. Sorry, please. You can be part of this program by calling the numbers on your TV screen. Call us, tell us what's your take on our topic this morning. We're looking at the proposed bill against hate speech, and of course, you can also send text message if the lines are very busy. And of course, this is coming from Uzoma. Uzoma says, what happens if I say I'm a Biafran and I'm being abused by somebody from the north? Would that be perceived as hate speech?
You say you're a Biafran, and somebody say, how can you be a Biafran while you are living in Nigeria? And while you are using Nigerian money?
So would that be kind of hate speech?
It's not hate speech. He's saying, he's stating the obvious. You cannot be a Biafran in a land that you are eating, using the resources, you are using his diplomatic passport, and the passport
is also proscribed.
Fine. So you cannot say, if the person now says anything against you, you cannot go to court and say, look, I am doing this because I'm a Biafran. You are a Biafran, you're a Nigerian. Okay,
the proposed law on his speech is death penalty, life sentence, and of course 10 million naira fine for death penalty. If the right of results to death of the victim, then death penalty by hanging is applied.
You know, at times I may just
take on this.
I may just at times, if they want death penalty, let us make the law retrogressive. Let's get back. For all people that are saying hate speech in Nigeria. No. We go back.
Gentlemen, let's get with president No, gentlemen, this is a very serious issue. Hang on, this is a more serious issue, and I think a lot of Nigerians are reacting to these, and we need to treat it with all seriousness. Let's take a look at it. People have said that one of our greatest problems in the 70s and the 80s, we were seen as one Nigeria, where the people in the north can come to the east and see themselves as Igbos, where the Igbos could migrate to the west and the north and all corners of the country and open up a business, and of course they're seen as the brother's keeper. But come in the late 90s and 2000, politicians begin to make us understand that wasn't quote, that Nigerians, look, you belong to a certain group and you belong to a certain group, and that became a serious problem. Now the question is, if we collectively say our greatest problem is hate speech, can't we come together and set and agree if this could give solution?
Brother Mike, if I will take you into history, you read out a part of history, of our true history, where the northerner wasn't here. In Enugu, Emma Artin was the mayor of Enugu, a northerner. In the then eastern Nigeria, a young man, was the mayor of Port Harcourt. We lived as brothers. That always remind me. I don't know if you had listened to me most times. I said, let us jettison this Kokoma national anthem we are using, and go back to our own national anthem, and let our children, even the ones unborn and what they have, to learn, understand the lyrics, understand the the words of that national anthem, which says, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And in the second stanza, he talks about a nation where truth and justice will reign. And he goes back to the last stanza. He said, oh God, our creation, grant us this one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, no Hausa man is oppressed, no Fulani man is oppressed, no Igbo man is oppressed, no Ijo man is oppressed, no Ibibio, no Anan, no Igbo, no Nupe, no everybody. That nobody is oppressed. The problem of Nigeria that brings whatever you are talking about hate speech is when you make appointments that is one side of people to dominate and others do not have anything. People will react. People will get angry.
Does it do not open up for such discussion to say if we need to jettison the hate speech. We think that these are the things also, because I mean the bill is being discussed, and so ideas, contributions, observations will also know. So don't you think that, let's hold on a minute, don't you think that once this bill is put up, there's going to be a lot of contribution and observation, and this might also set in to say, why won't I fight in CBO? Why won't I use what I think I'm giving the section 39 of the Constitution amended says there's a freedom of speech, freedom of expression. You get that immediately you're born into this country. Why won't I express myself to say CBO is not fair? And so I don't think I have that respect and regards for CBO. Would that open up for discussion? Okay, we're over to you, and let's see who the caller is. Hello, good morning, caller. Good morning. Hello? Hello? Good morning, caller. Good morning. Good morning, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. I am not happy now because the area is going to make a bit like don't worry. That's not a hate speech. I can tell you that is not a hate speech. That's part of hate speech. That's part of hate speech. That is not a hate speech. That is not a hate speech. Go ahead. You can hear your voice. I wish you had the contribution from your care. I wish you had to say that it is related to government. We are just tired of what is happening in this government. The things they are doing, when you say about the great benefit, I wish your first way to say now, someone will be better development with implemented. We want to talk about the national security of
All right, thank you very much. The first guest, you heard him, believes that we should go back to the basic, and of course, we also pointed out the fact that our national anthem, like you also talked about,
needs to be changed.
We need to go back to the previous national anthem, because so much to learn from that, and that builds us as one united nation. All right, we're talking about if this bill, the proposed bill, is being looked into, of course there will be observations from different persons, and that can be jettisoned if you say, oh look, I think I'm being pulled down by some certain people, and I think that needs to stop. Would that be a headway towards achieving that?
You see, if the essence of the bill, like you said, when it gets out to in the legislation, the fact remains again, I want us to look at this way. Most bills that have come up in the legislature have always gone back. You find out that the executive kills it. If he finds out that that bill is not of their personal, of their clandestine interest of what they want.
So I need to quickly read this, which says it is just a waste of time to keep them busy, and I think there are better things to be discussed about the lives of Nigerians.
I share with Uche, because right now this country is known as the poverty capital of the world. Many Nigerians cannot eat, but when we came with the change mantra that on every man's table there will be enough food. For God's sake, I'm not taking breakfast. I don't know if you any of you have had.
But you know,
so some have not taken. Many people right here have not, because there's no food. So these are the things. And if you are aware that the price of rice is about 27,000 naira now. So these are issues we want to go, and other commodities are going higher and higher. The ordinary citizens cannot afford enough to feed themselves. So these are the areas that I think the legislature should be replacing.
Okay, text messages are coming in, and else Benga says when has merely making a speech under section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution, which guarantees freedom of expression, become not just treasonable offense but life imprisonment. But treason itself that is punishable with death. Discussing this is also a hate speech for him. Alright, Nigerians are reacting to this, and of course that is coming from Benga. He said discussing this is also a hate speech itself. Yes. Don't you think Nigerians are not taking this very serious like the way they say?
No, we are taking it serious. Look, this morning, the senator representing Abia Abaride was on Channel Television. And earlier before he came to Channel Television, the civil society visited him in his office at the mandatory area of their prison. And he said that they will stand on their toes to make sure that that bill does not come. Because you cannot come and guard people from expressing themselves. You cannot come and guard us from saying things. Look, this is a second way. Look, this very administration, I'm sorry to tell you this, the head of this administration, when he was military, this brought Decree 2 that made us, we should not ever question whatever those in government are saying. And this is another way that the man, the senator that is sponsoring this thing, must have been motivated or gagged up by hearing about the deputy chief of the executive is using him to put in this in so that we will not ask questions. We are going to ask questions. We will.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Tell us your name and where you're calling us from, sir.
Good morning.
Okay. I want to make a correct impression. I hope that my mother will meet you in the comfortable.
Yes, I am.
And when Mr. President was traveling in 2016, any additional, but the election of India and any additional that will release the information that the president was going to EMT, road and road treatment. That's right. Physically he was told. They will put in complete expression that he was not sick. No, he said he was going to EMT, road and road treatment, which EMT will say is doctor. And it's like in the last of time. So that is just one. But I want to just say this. This is an expression, the use of the law, a comment that we should be flying. And the literally says progressively, we don't like that level. So when somebody, when we are, what call it, we are that it's not wrong like that. It is not the hatred.
Hello?
Psychiatric treatment. It was not that of treatment. When you try to make an expression, you point to a particular truth which needs to be released. It is not that of hatred. Yes. It is when you need to use the show that the Mr. President is on life support and somebody like who call it, we will say, you know, the President was on life support. He was on this. He was there. And so on and so on. There were so many people showing that hatred. It was not the question of whether he was for treatment or not. He was not for physically wrong. Which the Chicago said, that this is a little bit comfortable. But what happened that he didn't the attention of his doctor. So I want to correct that impression. When you make a statement showing that you don't like me, you don't want to even to the heart, it becomes hatred. But when you say that when the whole body, you need a little bit of the heart, like you don't want it, you might not be saying it only. You are telling me to feel my doctor. I want to do this and that to help me in one or the other. Hatred is something dangerous. It is infectious. It is infectious. You infect other people, begin to hate you. Somebody can talk against you before you know somebody was started hating you. You know you can't reason. So that is why we want to control it at this time. This is my own impression. I will be comfortable.
Thank you very much, Father Obani. It seems you heard Father Obani. Yes. Obani believes that the call for hate speech is not a bad idea. He believes that it's just to curtail our excesses and make us understand that, look, you need to respect the right.
No, what I am saying that in our statute books, in our criminal code, in everything, there are a lot of our laws that hold on to this issue of expressing things derogatory, that slander, things that can cause hate speech. What they term hate speech. They are bringing it to a crescendo as if it's coming out from Venus, planet Venus. These things have been here all over. When the colonial masters were here, we were reacting to the whites and all that.
Okay, just hang on, and this is coming from. Okay, this is coming from Anonymous. There was no name attached to it. It said an obnoxious law such as this will further drive on the ground and into hiding. The opposition and genuine social critics will speak truth to power and criticize serial people or people that are corrupt will have nothing to say anymore because they believe that saying this might result to the infringement of the other person, so they might also die with the truth.
Fine, we must speak, and nobody can count me personally, and nobody can count the media. The Nigerian media were out. We fought for the independence of this country. The media also have fought the military, and that is why the people today he has become the president of Nigeria in a democracy. We will stand, the media will stand, individuals will stand and say no to gagging us.
You heard what Father Mobani said. We are not saying you're not going to talk, but the way you also say it, the way you...
I'm telling you that in our statute books, they are all there. Bringing this obnoxious bill, no. But
somebody said...
They are all there in our statute books.
Somebody said Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights guarantees freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of the frontiers it gives to the next person.
That is it. Because what they are trying to say is that so that we get to a point where we can no longer come out to say this government is doing this government is doing that, or even the elected people or even the appointees of government can now do anything. As we are talking to you now in this country, there's high level of corruption. The government that was saying that was fighting corruption, there's also high level of corruption in this country. And everyone is saying it. And when we say it out, they say it's hate speech. Why would we talk? Why would we talk?
All right, thank you. We'll be discussing the proposed bill against hate speech proposed by the Deputy Chief Whip representing the Niger North, talking about Aliu Sabi Abdullahi. And of course, a lot of questions are popped up. And the first question is, who defines what is hate speech? What is the true text of determining what is hate speech? And of course, who takes a look and who calls the shot of the hate speech? Is it the person being traumatized by the hate speech, or is it the National Assembly, or is it the courts, or is it the executive? All these are the questions that Nigerians are asking. Of course, we'll go for a break and we will come back. I am Stella will still be here, and of course our guest is Studio Substance. Please just stay with us.
One-stop breakfast show on TV. It's celebration time.
MCR TV celebrating the 10th anniversary of its popular breakfast program, Good Morning Abia.
You mean MCR TV Good Morning Abia is 10 years?
Yes, the program that discusses diverse issues every day, Monday through Saturday, 8 o'clock to 10 in the morning.
Social,
political,
cultural,
economic,
educative, and trending issues.
MCR TV invites our friends and personalities who are featured on Good Morning Abia over the years. It will be exciting with moments to recall and celebrate.
It will be time to honor our regular guests, while pioneer guests will have the opportunity of appearing again on the program. The event will also feature the cutting of anniversary cake. MCR TV, the world in your home.
It's a celebration.
One-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Yes, you're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is still Good Morning Abia, your breakfast program on TV, and of course we'll be taking a look at the proposed bill against hate speech, and of course we'll still have our guest, Civil Substance. Stella.
Okay, so the Senate believes that the reason why the bill proposed by the Deputy Chief Whip Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi in Niger North was to foster peace and coexistence between Nigeria and respect for our culture, religion, belief, and it was giving all the push it needs to solve hate speech amongst us. So do you think that this bill will reduce or eradicate hate speech that has taken front burner in recent times?
It will not. What can eradicate hate speech and whatsoever is
bring peace among us.
Justice, equity, fair play. Once you are in government, either as the president, as a governor, as a local government chairman, in as much as resources that are meant for the people gets to the people, and in as much as people come to court and you look at this man is not from Mumbai, you now sentence him to jail, and this other one is from Mumbai, you release him, you set him free. That is not justice. But when an Unga man comes and you find out that he is culpable, you send him to jail. And an Anambra man comes and a man comes and is culpable, you send him to jail. You are doing the thing equitably and with justice and truth and fairness. When resources that are meant for the people have come to put hospital in this place, put school in that place, put this in this place, what the people need, they have them. You do not give, you are not discriminatory in taking it to one side. Or appointments come, you only come on the day of appointments, those who will go, will have jobs, you will give only your side jobs, and the other people will not have. This is what will bring hate speech. When there is no discrimination, when there is equity and justice, there will be no hate speech. Everybody will be happy.
Okay, let's go back and take a look at when the former president Olusegun Obasanjo had to give way or give right to the Economic Financial Crime Commission, talking about the EFCC. And today you and I know how EFCC has been able to bring a lot of Nigerians to book. Well, the Senate is also proposing to have a commission that would guide and foster Nigeria to a better place by making sure that when we're talking, we guide our utterances. Don't you think with having these around, it will help a lot of Nigerians, including politicians themselves, to be very careful and very meticulous with the way words have been used?
This bill is dead on arrival. It will not fly. We Nigerians will come. I'll be one of those who will call out Nigerians, even go to the streets to say that we'll protest against this bill. It will not work. We have, I continue to say, in our constitution, in our statute books, in our criminal code, things that are taking care of these matters, they are all there. The only problem we have is people in leadership that have continued to give us wrong leadership. A leadership that says that it's only if I'm from this area, the people to be appointed are only from this area. The positions of power. Look, what is hate speech? Hate speech is not only the one you express by mouth. Hate speech is even your body language is hate speech. The body language, the president even gave us hate speech after we voted him to power. He gave us 70% and 30% is hate speech.
No, please, let's be guided with words, please.
It's hate speech.
No, please, let's be guided with our words.
If you are elected into office, you are elected for the people, whether those who voted for you and not who voted for you. So when you start giving percentages, it is hate speech.
No, we're talking about the present.
So what I'm saying today is this, that there are statutes, there are in the criminal code, in our constitution, laws that these things. Put them to tests. Let them go to court. If somebody has said anything you think is derogatory, go to court. And go to court and fight it out. And that is where he's found guilty, the court will sentence him to it. Let me give you an instance. In the First Republic, you were young by that time, but that was in the 1950 something. In the Western region, the leader of House of Opposition then was Adekunle Adelabu. He slapped the High Court judge, and it was seen like that. I'm talking about the colonial government. It was seen as something. How could such a thing happen? That somebody could slap a High Court judge. The NCNC party, which he belonged to that time, went to Britain. That was when the British lads were coming here. They brought the Queen's Counsel, Dingo Foots. He came into Nigeria, and when he came, mind you that the judge that was slapped will not be the one to handle the case. He is also going to be in the dock. Then he asked the SSLI asked Adelabu, you don't deny you slapped a man. Because some people are saying, no, deny you didn't slap him and that. He put him on top. He said, did you slap him? He said, yes, I slapped him. He now expressed the reason why I slapped him. The foot in the court, other Nigerian judge lawyers were out there, opened the then which is what law. He said, anybody can be slapped if you have done something that warrants you to be slapped. So what am I saying? The judiciary is the adjudicator. That if anybody offends you, if you say that anything, they're going to go to court.
Let's take a look at the positive side of the bill.
Which bill? This is a obnoxious bill.
Let's take a look at positive.
Yes. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the last election, Atiku Abubakar, has described the anti-hate speech bill as an abuse of legislative process that will violate Nigeria's constitutionally guaranteed rights to freedom of speech. He said that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, is a divine right given to all men by our Creator. What do you make out of this?
I share what his sentiment. I believe in what he's saying.
And don't you think that there are also, positive sides to this bill?
There are no positive sides to this bill because this bill is draconian. This bill is another form of Decree 2, which was promulgated by the former military government, headed by President, who was military officer. We will not allow it stand.
Okay, let's take a look quickly at the proposed bill again. The bill will have to provide an option of a fine of 10 million naira for those found guilty of offences of hate speech. The bill also seeks the establishment of a commission that will enforce the law, which will be titled as Independent National Commission of Hate Speech, which has the objective of ensuring the elimination of all forms of hate speeches. The bill states on a person who uses, publishes, produces, plays, provides, distributes, and or directs the performance of any material, written or visual, which is threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior, commits an offense if such person intends thereby stem public hatred. You heard what the proposed bill looks like, and of course one of the major reasons for this bill, according to the Senate, is to foster peace and harmony. Let us not take a look at what we think the bill might hinder Nigeria, but let's take a look at the positive side. Will this bill not foster?
It will not foster any unity. It will not foster.
Why will this bill not foster unity?
You see, such draconian or obnoxious bills cannot foster unity. What fosters unity, I have always been shouting on it, is justice, fair play, truth, the ability to touch the lives of everybody. When you are a president, you make your appointments irrespective of where my brother, my nephew, my cousin, or whatever. Open up that people this nation belongs to all of us. It does not belong to your family. You are a governor, this nation belongs to everybody in your state. The state does not belong to your family, neither does it belong to your own clan or people from your tribe. That's what we are talking about. Justice, equity, fair play is the only thing that can foster unity, love, oneness, and that is that. And that is why I asked you that our leaders should go back and see to what has happened, go back to the old national anthem and read it again and imbibe the spirit in that old national anthem, that it will bring love, it will bring unity, it will bring oneness. I gave you instances of an Hausa man who was the mayor of Enugu, a Yoruba man who was the mayor of Port Harcourt. It happens that way. And everybody there, if somebody from another place was a mayor, and people were, the county councils we see him as one of us. So that is the only way we can achieve that. But if we continue to say you are bringing your precious bills, forget it. Okay,
okay, sir. We are gradually coming to the segment of today's program, talking about the discussion segment. What is actually your advice to Nigerians as it has to do with this bill, and of course, living hate speech and bringing unity and coexistence among us?
Nigerians, if those born after the independence or those who are born by this period should go back and find out if they can get a copy of the Nigerian national anthem, the first Nigerian national of the First Republic, and go through the words and read it, internalize it, and then realize also the truth that all of us, no matter where you come from, we are all one and the same thing. I believe in the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. I don't care where you come from, I don't care religion. And that is what all of us should imbibe in our consciousness, that we are all one of one family. So that if any good thing I could do, who is my neighbor? Every man I see on the street of life is my neighbor. It doesn't mean that my neighbor is only the person that lives in my compound or somebody that is my brother from my village. Everybody is my neighbor in the world community of God's creation.
Okay, this is coming from a senior advocate of Nigeria talking about Mike Zokame, and he says, I pray that this provision is not true. I pray it's a mere moonlight tale, the type described as tale by moonlight and told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Will this not also be termed as hate speech, coming from a senior advocate of Nigeria?
They can't remember who makes this time, who adjusts this time. The executive, the government in power decides what is hate speech. That's what the problem is. The government decides when you say something, it becomes hate speech.
How would a senior advocate of Nigeria call a sitting senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Not just he represents Niger North, but a sitting senator of Nigeria to say he's an idiot.
An idiot? Anybody can become an idiot when you behave like one. Such obnoxious laws that are anti-people, such obnoxious laws that even will foster more hatred is the issue. So we are saying we don't want it. In our statute, we the reason why. You see the reason why the Constitution has given us the Constitution has given me that if I insult you, you can take me to court and sue me for slander, defamation, and all that. They are all there. We have it in our constitution. We have it in our criminal code. We have it in everything of our legal rights. The laws are there.
Let's see our last caller, please, because we are very Hello, good morning. Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from? All right, Chairman, your contribution.
I think federal government wants to divert our attention to here.
Okay.
There is much poverty in the land.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to say you have collected a commission that will be brought by chairman and secretary, create an office.
Yes.
What they will do is to sit on a laptop and to go so that we will take out a speech against the government on their laptop.
That's it.
I think it's possible. It means that they have body to do. Yes. Why is the issue? Why do you I don't think that. No, even if it's working, there are platforms. Facebook, you can present out this. Yes, I know that people that call it speech. So if there is Facebook, let the government go to Facebook and direct their attention. If I use this time, I use that platform. They present a whole speech. Who can go to the people? This is the missionary. So black me and direct their attention to God. I want to say that they are doing to people. And I thought to what guys to people. They have been given a position. I give you what the church is doing. What the day of
Okay.
What is purpose?
Chemela.
And I don't know only
Okay, Chemela, let me quick. Chemela, please, if you can hear me, let me ask you. All right, Chemela, if you're watching, just to say, we have wanted to ask a simple question to say, if all this is to foster peace and harmony in this country, is that too much to be asked from the Senate? Is it wrong to say, let us be guided by our utterances? And if that is what the Senate thinks is the way forward, is that a wrong move? All right, hopefully that Chemela will call if time permits. Stella, is there any other last question from you?
No, not my last question. Just like I used to be, actually advise people to, love one another. See anybody you see on the road as your neighbor. That's the only way will actually foster peace and unity among us.
All right, this is how far we can go on the proposed bill against hate speech, but believe me, tomorrow we're going to have a full house. We'll be bringing human rights activists and lawyers to tell us the way forward and what should be the proposed hate speech bill. And of course, I'm sure that you want to be part of it. Thank you for those that called in, and also a sincere apology. There seems to be a network issue here, but hopefully it will be better tomorrow. This is how far we can go. My name is Michael Fune.
And of course, I am Stella Ukuchukwu, and of course, join us again tomorrow for another wonderful update. Bye for now.
Stop breakfast show on TV.
MCL